Hey guys, welcome to today's video. We are here to talk about some new Sigma face products. These came out maybe a few weeks to a month ago, and I picked up a bronzer and blush. They came out with highlighters as well, but this is the matte bronzer in the shade medium and the blush in Berry Love. And I mentioned this in a recent haul video, I believe, and I asked if you guys were interested in like seeing a demo and hearing my thoughts, and the answer was yes. So my makeup is incomplete. I just have eyes, lips, and like my face done, but no cheek products. So that is what we are here to play with today. If you are new, hello and welcome. My name is Kelly and I love all things makeup and beauty. I love talking. I love makeup. I love talking about makeup. So if you like to chat about makeup too, I would love to have you subscribe and be part of the K-Bella fam. But why don't we go ahead? I'm going to zoom you in and we'll play with some makeup. Okay, so for the first part of the video, I'm gonna do like a demo and kind of show you what these products look like on the face. So we will start with bronzer. Like I said, this is the matte bronzer in the shade medium. This is what it looks like here. And first I'm gonna go in with my BK Beauty 107 brush. It's a fluffy brush, but it's a little bit more dense. And I like to use this, I'm just gonna tap into my bronzer. I'm seeing a little bit of dust come up, and you have the product here, so I'm just gonna tap a tiny bit off, and I'm just gonna stamp this right here. I like to use this brush first, just for a little bit of definition, and because I feel like I have a small face. We're gonna go in with another brush too. I typically, if I'm being honest, I typically wear like two bronzers. I'll either go in with my Charlotte Tilbury Sculpt shade and kind of put it in the hollows of my cheeks, or I'll go in with some sort of cream bronzer. Lately I've been using the Rare Beauty bronzer, and I'll go in with that first to kind of create a little bit of definition. Not necessarily like a full-on contour, but a little bit of definition. And then I go in with a second bronzer on top, but I wanted you to see how this looked on its own. So you can see here, don't mind my hair by the way, this is summer in Texas, okay? So you can see here, when I get this a little bit more concentrated and put it where my cheek is, this is what we're looking like. No bronzer, bronzer. Then I typically go in with my BK 103, which is very similar to the 107, but it's larger. And so this is the one that I would typically go in, like I would go in first, like I said, with something that's a little bit more contour-like. Then I would go in with this bronzer and my BK 103, again, just tap it in. And this one's just to kind of diffuse it because I don't want it to look super concentrated or streaky. And this just kind of blends everything out. Now I have to say, the first time I used this bronzer, I felt like it was super light. I don't know if it was just like my lighting that day or what it was, but I feel like it's showing up better today. I want to give you a good look here. Now you can see I have more, I would say, fair to light skin. I'm not the fairest of the fair despite what it looks like on camera. I know on camera with the lights and everything I look super duper fair. I tend to go for more like light than fair. So you can see I did build this up. The medium is buildable. But here you can see this is the side with bronzer with nothing. Bronzer, nothing. Bronzer, nothing. What do you think? And this was me building it up a little bit. It just depends like how much bronzer you want. I do find this to be a very buildable formula. I don't feel like it's getting muddy as I build, but also it's not super pigmented to the point where I dip in and I'm like, whoa, this is too much bronzer. So if you're someone who's heavy-handed, you can see I did build it up. You don't necessarily have to worry about like applying too much at one time. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other cheek, and then we'll move on to the blush. Okay, so here's what my face is looking like with just a bronzer. I have now built up both sides. I'm pretty sure I got them even. I do have to build up this bronzer a little bit. Like I said, if you're heavy-handed, you would probably like that about this bronzer. But now we are going to go in with the blush. Now I picked up the blush in the shade Berry Love. This is a matte blush. They do have a couple blushes that have more of like a sheen or a shimmer in them. And I'm also going to use my Sigma Large Angled Contour, the F40. I love this for blush. I do feel like this is good with products that are a little bit less pigmented, where you want to build it up because it's a little bit more dense. If you have a blush that is hyper pigmented, I go in with one that's a little bit fluffier. But I'm just going to tap in here like this, and I'm going to kind of pat it. Now you can see it's pigmented, right? This one has no blush. This one has blush. So I'm actually going to pat a little bit off here too, and onto the apples of my cheeks. The blush I find to be more pigmented than the bronzer. So if you are a blush fanatic, you will probably like that. I feel like you don't have to go in with as much product with the blush, because you can see here, it definitely gave me some pigment. And I like this brush because I can apply the product where I want it, but then I can also blend it out because it is fluffy enough to blend. But you saw me go in multiple times with the bronzer. This is all I'm doing for the blush because look how pigmented that is. Let me turn my lights down a little bit. I mean, now it looks kind of muddy. We turn it up just a touch. I'm trying to get it so that you can see. Sometimes it's hard with lights because you get a little bit washed out, but you can see it's pigmented, right? Like there's pigment here. But I really like this blush shade. I like how pigmented it is, but I'm still able to blend it in, have it looking nice. It is a matte blush, but you can see, I feel like it doesn't make my face look flat. I do have dry skin, so I do tend to prep my skin with more like hydrating primers. The primer that I use today is, I mean, I always use the same primer, but it's the Glow Recipe Niacinamide Dewdrops, and then I take a little bit of the Tatcha Silk Canvas and put it where my pores are the largest. And then for foundation, I have the Pat McGrath foundation, the Sublime foundation. And so it's a little bit more of a lighter coverage. You can kind of see my freckles underneath, but you can see I have a bit of a glow. So the blush is matte and the bronzer is matte as well, but it's not like a flat matte. Now this part you didn't come to see, but I recently filmed a video about neglected makeup products. I can put that here if you want to check it out. And my Natasha Denona I Need a Nude Glow highlighter has been neglected in my collection. So this is what it looks like first without any highlighter. And then I'm going to take my Sigma tapered highlighter, the F35. And I mean, you're not really here to see this highlighter that you can't get anymore, but I am going to put a little bit of highlighter just right on the high points of my cheeks and my forehead. And then you can see how it plays with highlighter, no highlighter, highlighter, no highlighter. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll highlight the other side of my face, but I'm going to zoom you out and give you my final thoughts on these two face products by Sigma. Okay, so this is what my face looks like now with my makeup complete. I'm not going to tell you what's on the eyes because I do have a video coming up where I'm going to talk about my favorite summer eyeshadow palettes, or the palettes I'm going to be using this summer, and I'll talk about the eyeshadow here. But in case you're wondering about my lip combo, it is my BK Beauty lip liner in Warm Spice and then my Tom Ford Blush Nude lipstick. I don't think I've paired these two together, but I think they look really nice and I think they look fun with the eye look that I have on. So let's talk about these two products right here. We will start with the bronzer. Now I have to say, I've used the bronzer a couple times. It plays well with other bronzers. I used it on top of my Rare Beauty bronzer, the bronzer stick. I didn't find that it got any hard pan or anything. When I do dip into it, I get a little bit of powder, a little bit of kickback, but I would say that this is a buildable formula. It is matte. Like I said, I do have more like fair to light or light skin. I know it's sometimes hard to see with the lighting, but like in my Pat McGrath foundation, I'm wearing L7, if that helps you out at all. So I'm not the lightest of the light, but I'm definitely not a light medium. If you are someone who is a light medium, medium complexion, medium tan, I don't think the medium shade would be dark enough for you because you saw I really went in and built it up. I had to go in and keep building and keep building. If I were to just use my fluffy BK 103, I feel like I don't get enough pigmentation. That's why I went in first with the BK 107 so I could really stamp it in and then blend it out with the 103, whereas I have some bronzers that are more pigmented where I can go in just with the fluffier 103 and be good to go. But this one I kind of need to get the powder where I want it, blend it out, and build it up. So if you're someone who's heavy-handed or you just want more of a light wash, then the medium shade may be great for you. This bronzer formula, I felt like it was really blendable. It went on nicely. Like I thought the formula was great. I just had to build it up. And like I said, if you are any darker than me, I don't know that medium would be dark enough for you, but it is definitely a matte bronzer if that's what you're looking for. I don't find it to be too orange or red. I like more of a neutral undertone when it comes to my bronzers. I do feel like this pulls a little bit warmer, but it's not too orange. I tend to shy away from bronzers that are too orange, just especially with my red hair. But the blush, I feel like, is definitely a standout for me. I did get the shade Berry Love. It's super pigmented. This one I just tap in a couple of times, blend it on. I don't have to build this up. This is one where if you are heavy-handed, you might want to go in with a fluffier brush or just like lightly tap in. I didn't really notice too much kickback when I was dipping my brush in. I definitely had more kickback with the bronzer than with the blush, but this shade specifically, it's the only shade I can talk to, or it's the only shade I can talk about because it's the only shade that I have, but this one is super pigmented. It definitely goes on nice. Again, this particular shade is a matte, but it doesn't like make me look too flat or too matte, even with my dry skin. I feel like it looks nice. So if you could only purchase one of these, the blush or the bronzer, I personally would say go for the blush, but I don't think you would be disappointed if you had the money to purchase both and you wanted to purchase both, just knowing that the bronzer is a little bit more buildable and the blush is a little bit more pigmented, so you go in with a little bit of a lighter hand. But overall, I'm happy that I have both of these. I am interested in getting more blush shades. I don't know that I'm gonna pick up the highlighter. I feel like I have plenty of highlighters in my collection already. Not that I don't have plenty of blushes and bronzers, but at this time I'm happy with the blush and bronzer that I have. If I make another purchase, I might get one more blush, but I think I'm gonna pass on the highlighter for now. But I don't think you'll be disappointed to try out these face products. This was kind of my first go at Sigma makeup. I do have an eyeshadow palette, the Ambiance eyeshadow palette, but I don't have too much makeup from Sigma. I love their brushes, I know that, but I kind of want to see more what their makeup is about. So if you picked these up, let us know in the comments down below your thoughts. Do you like them? Do you recommend them? What shades did you get? Let's help each other out in the comments in case you are interested in making a purchase. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Make sure you are subscribed before you go. That way I can see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.